What's up, PC building community? This is Leg from Lex TechLaund, and I'm gonna show you how to configure the lighting on the Rakk Alpas.
For those who are not familiar with the Rakk Alpas, I did a review a while back. Go check it out if you're new to this case. This video is sort of a follow-up, as I will just go through its connections, lighting effects, and basic cable management. So the Rakk Alpas comes with three 120mm RGB fans. You have the main fan, which is shown here. It has three connectors: a SATA power connector, which connects to your power supply, a fan connector that enables daisy chain to the next auxiliary fan, a 2-pin fan header that connects to your front panel reset button. You also get two auxiliary fans, both of which has a cable that terminates to two fan connectors, one male and one female for daisy chain. Now let's connect the fans while outside the case for a more simpler approach. First, we connect the two auxiliary fans, then we connect the middle fan to the main fan. After that, we are going to locate the reset button connector from the front panel. So this is the connector, the blue one, and we're going to connect it to the 2-pin fan header on the main fan. Now we power everything with a power supply. Identify your SATA power connector from the PSU. And connect it to the SATA power connector of the main fan. A quick tip to power on a power supply without a motherboard or a power switch: get yourself a thin metal stick. I'm using a paper clip here with both ends peeled. Then locate the green wire from the 24-pin connector on the power supply and use the metal to connect it to a black wire. I recommend the 4 to the right, taking caution while doing so. Now let's toggle between the lighting modes using the reset button. Here are all 14 lighting modes. Interesting to note, whatever lighting mode you set on the fans, it will always be loaded even if you restart the system. Some of you may wonder how I cable manage the RGB fans of the case, so here it is. For the first auxiliary fan, this is the bottom one, I basically wrap the cable around the fan, doing so until it terminates closely to the next fan, like this. We now move on to the next fan. This is the middle one. Then we just repeat the process from the first one. As you can see, the cable slack is just enough for the connectors. Now for the last one, this is the main fan. This is a bit tricky. I recommend always installing it on top. It has two cables, which I would also wrap around the fan until the 2-pin header ends up on top. And the fan connector with the SATA power connector ends up on its side. Here it is when the fans are installed on the case. And here's another angle from inside the case. As for the front panel reset connector, I'll just tie it to make it shorter, just enough for it to reach the main fan 2-pin header. Aside from the Rakk Alpas, I'm using this entry-level power supply, also from Rakk Gears. This is their cheapest power supply, the RK400W PSU. I will be using this PSU to keep things simple and easy to manage. I'll be installing it fan facing down to help exhaust heat because there's no ventilation present on top of the case. Now we're behind the motherboard tray. We have this set of cables. I have routed them from the inside. We have the 24-pin motherboard power connector, the 4-pin CPU power connector, and 2 peripheral power connectors, a pair of Molex and a pair of SATA. Since this case doesn't come with routing holes for the 4-pin CPU power connector, I'll be returning it inside. Next we have the 24-pin connector. As you can see, it's quite short, so I'll be routing through this first grommet right here. And I'm going to tie it with the front panel, audio, and USB connector. Last we have the 2 peripheral connectors. I will connect the first one to the main fan, making sure I line this up correctly. After that, I'm gonna find a position where I could tie it with other cables. This bundle right here seems good enough. I just need to find a medium twist tie to secure them in place, and also making sure they stay nice and flat. Now for the second one, I just need to route the SATA connector so it could reach a drive on the side of the motherboard tray. This grommet right here allows me just that. So I just need to secure it with twist ties. Now if you're concerned that this bundle of cables might be too high, remember that the back panel has this bulge, almost extending the whole panel and about 3/4 of an inch high, which allows it to be placed without any problem. So there you have it, my simple guide on how to configure the lighting and basic cable management on the Rakk Alpas. Let me know what you guys think. Are you considering building in the Rakk Alpas? Toss a like if you find this guide informative, and I'll see you all next time!